This is the Flourishing Business Podcast. This podcast is for women who are flourishing in business or who want to be. Today, my guest is Jessica Moore. Jessica Moore is the owner of Jessica Moore Bookkeeping. She loves working from home and helping small business owners grow their businesses by taking the stress and worry of managing their finances off their to-do list so they can get back to what they love, growing their businesses and spending time with loved ones. She loves coming alongside her clients and helping them reach their goals both in business and personally by giving number-driven advice. She takes confusing pages of numbers and turns them into understandable roadmaps for her clients' dreams. When she's not helping her clients grow, she's busy chasing around her 2 toddler boys. Before we get started, I want to welcome you to the Flourishing Business Podcast. I am your host, Allison Liddick, owner of Allison Liddick Coaching, where I work with Christian women running their businesses and trying to do it all in life. I am a wife of 19 years, mom of 3 beautiful girls, and I have an unhealthy love of coffee and Ray Dunn. Seriously. But for real, my passion and purpose is helping Christian women flourish in business and life, and to learn how to have supernatural focus on God's plan for their business. It's an honor to get to coach women from all over. I am also the host of another podcast called The Shared Cup, where women share their stories of how they've experienced Jesus Christ work in their lives. Check it out anywhere you listen to podcasts. All right, let's dive into today's episode. Jessica, thank you again so much for being here today and coming on to share all about your business.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and share everything that God has done, because it has definitely been a journey.
Man, and he has. I can't wait for you to dive in and share about that too. It's such an incredible story. But why don't you start off just by telling us a little bit about you, and then I want to hear too about your business.
All right. Well, I'm Jessica, and I am a stay-at-home mom, first and foremost, of 2 whirlwind toddlers, Grayson, who is 3.5, and Tristan, who is 1.5. And
Aww.
They are the center of my world and just keep me very busy. My husband works for Texas Tech University, and so he's gone during the day, and I stay home with them, and through that, God opened the doors for an amazing business. So
cool. Well, tell us a little bit about that, because I mean, if you're able to be a stay-at-home mom and have 2 little toddlers, we all want to know how you're doing it. So let's hear a little bit about your business. So what do you do?
Well, I am actually what is known as a virtual bookkeeper, and there's really no difference between a virtual bookkeeper and an actual bookkeeper.
Okay.
Outside of, I strictly do stuff online. All of my accounts are online. Most of the time I'm communicating strictly through Zoom or Facebook or something like that. I very rarely ever meet my clients face to face. Not that I'm opposed to that, but it allows me to actually work with clients across the country.
Yeah, sure.
And even potentially across the world, especially during the pandemic. So that was a huge blessing.
And so explain that to us just a little bit, because I have personally worked with business owners who want to have their bookkeeper in-house. What can you tell those people to put them at ease that a virtual bookkeeper is the same as having someone there?
Well, the biggest benefit to having a virtual bookkeeper is I'm not your employee. So you're not having to pay employee wages. You're not having to pay benefits. You're not having to worry about any of that cost. Right. So you're really only contracting with me to handle your books. The other thing is it means I don't have access to your money. I do everything through software that you plug in your account information, and it allows me to see it. And if I ever have bank access, I have what's called an accountant access or read-only access.
Okay.
So I can log into your account and I can view your statements and I can see your transactions, but I can't touch your money at all.
Okay.
So it's just another level of security.
Right.
Whereas if you have somebody in-house, not that anybody ever would, but it opens doors for, we have a check that's gone missing. We have a transaction on a credit card that only you have access to.
Right.
You don't have any of that risk because I don't have access to any of that stuff.
That's good. So it actually gives the business owner more control over that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to provide a better service being remote.
Yes.
That's so cool. Well, awesome. So tell us about it, because I think this is really cool, like when your business started and everything and the reason why. So tell us how this business came to be.
Well, it's truly a God thing. My husband and I got married, and when we did, I actually left the banking world. I was no longer working at the bank that I had worked at for 5 years. And I moved in with him. Of course, he was in a different city. And it was almost like every time I tried to do something, God closed the door.
Mm.
So literally for 3.5 years from the time we got married, I was constantly trying to find a way to help. My husband and I are huge Dave Ramsey fans. We were working the baby steps, and we had a huge pile of debt. And as Dave puts it, a little bitty shovel. And I couldn't bring in any income. Everything I tried either did not work out. One job actually wanted me to be gone 3 weeks of the month. I'm like, I can't build a family like that. That's not what God wants. So, I mean, so it was literally every time I thought a door was opening, it just closed. And so I had started doing research just constantly, ways I can work from home. Then we had our first son, and I was like, okay, now I really have to work from home because there's no way at this point we could afford daycare.
Right.
But even if I could find a job, all of my income would go to daycare. Nothing opened up. Had my second son, still nothing is opening up. And then I stumbled upon the idea of bookkeeping from home. And I'm like, okay, I love this. Well, if you start researching bookkeeping from home, you find tons of courses that teach it for $3,000 or $5,000.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, can't do that. So I'm just praying about it. I'm like, God, you seem to be opening these doors. I'm just not finding where I'm supposed to go. And in January, I found a course that was for only $500. And I was like, okay, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. So I was like, how am I going to get this money? And God was like, just call your parents, tell them what you're doing. I was like, but we don't rely on my parents for finances. He's like, call your parents. If you want this store to open, call your parents. So I called, and it's really funny because I talked to my dad, and he's like, yeah, I'll give you the money for it. And he later told me, when you called me about this, I thought it was a scam. There's no way this could work. I bought the course and started doing it in January. And that's when I officially launched my business. But the way the course was designed, even though you launch on your start date, you don't actually get ready for clients until about 3 months later.
Oh, okay.
But she has you doing stuff like starting your social media and stuff. And it was crazy. I started my Facebook page, and overnight I had over 100 followers. Wow. For my business page. That's unheard of.
Right.
And so I was just like, okay, God, I'm listening now. You got my attention. So I officially launched for clients the first week of March. Got my first 2 clients the second week of March, and then the pandemic hit.
Right.
And I was just like, how am I going to do this? Literally, the world shut down.
Right.
And God's like, just keep doing what you're supposed to. So I'm working, getting my clients. By my 3rd client, I had earned back all of the money that I needed to start the course. And my dad swallowed his words. Then he came to me and was like, I think this was going to work, but you've already earned the 500 back. Obviously, this is going to work. And so it was just a series of God opening doors, even for the ladies coming to me as clients. I had one who hired me just to get her books ready so she could file her taxes, her 2019 taxes. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I can't afford a monthly bookkeeper. There's no way I can do this. I said, well, let's get your taxes cleaned up. And then if you want to talk about it, we'll keep working on it. And God brought her enough monthly clients that she could bring me on.
Oh, wow. That's great.
She's like, until I was working with you, I didn't have this many clients. And then I started working with you, and now I have the clients. And I'm like, it's not me. So But it's just, God just continues to open doors. And now I'm setting at 6 monthly clients in the middle of a pandemic. And
Right.
it's like, who does that? How does that happen?
Right.
And so
That's
it's
so
just
good.
God opening the doors over
Yeah.
and over and over.
How encouraging is that? Like all of the stuff that you shared, you stepping out, you diving in, getting the training, starting the business. And then, like you said, the world shuts down and God still continues to bless you.
Mhm.
What would be some like tips or strategy or anything like that for anyone that might have been like the same story as you, but they don't have those clients yet? What are things you were doing that you would recommend they do?
The biggest tip, actually, I heard it in a podcast, and for the life of me, I cannot remember which one or even who I was listening to, but the person said, God calls us to step out in faith all the time.
Yeah.
But the worst thing you can do when he calls you is not step out. You
Yeah.
hurt yourself more by not stepping out. Yes, you can have the fear. Yes, you can have the overwhelm. Yes, you can be like, I'm not qualified. But if God calls you, you have to step out.
Yes.
And so, I mean, for me, I don't have a degree. I was a teller in a bank. That's the only finance background I have. And here I am, a certified bookkeeper.
Yeah. That's so good.
So, I mean, that's the number one. The number two is you just have to do it. If it's a calling on your life, the doors will open, yes, but if you don't step through them, if you don't do the work, it's not going to happen. One of my favorite Dave Ramsey quotes is pray like it depends on God, but work like it depends on you.
Yeah.
So you can lay it out to God over and over and over and say, God, open this door, God, open this door, God, open this door. But if you're not laying the groundwork, if the door's open, you can't get to it.
Right.
So you have to be laying the groundwork so you can get to the doors that God is opening.
Amen. I think so many people are praying, but they're not taking that action, and their faith is action.
Yes.
Like faith is trusting and stepping and walking. And I love how you said, like, he can be opening the door, but you don't have the groundwork laid. So how are you even going to get to the door to walk through it? So great advice to everyone out there. Like you need to be trusting and seeking and praying and asking, but doing that work that it takes to be able to move forward.
Yep.
So,
I mean, for me, I had the idea of bookkeeping, but if I wasn't doing the research on how to become a bookkeeper from home, I would have never found that $500 course.
right.
And I would have just thrown my hands up in the air and said, I can't afford $3,000 or I can't afford $5,000. So obviously this isn't, but I just kept laying that groundwork and praying for the door to open.
Yes. That's good advice as well, because I think sometimes people will pray, and if that first answer is not right, you can get discouraged and be like, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be. But you're like, no, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm just going to keep digging until he shows me the right solution. Because usually the first thing you find is not the best solution for you, right? Sometimes it can be even a test to see, okay, is she really committed? Is she really going to step into this? And is she really going to push through? So good job taking the action and getting in there. And congratulations on your clients.
Yes.
And your business. This is great. And this is one reason why we have the podcast. We want to encourage and provide hope to Christian women who are running their businesses or starting their businesses like you did this year in the midst of a pandemic.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm seeing so many Christians be blessed in this time. We're and I'm not discounting this time. It is very sensitive. It's real. But I'm seeing the Christians that are stepping out and walking in faith are being blessed. So that is you. And it sounds like the favor that's on your life is even bringing favor to your clients' businesses.
Well, and we as Christians, and especially Christian women in business, that's our calling.
Yeah.
I mean, if you pattern your life after the Proverbs 31 woman, it says she brings blessing to her household, and through that blessing, even her servants are blessed.
Yes.
So, I
Amen.
mean, if we're bringing and asking for God's blessing on our life, it's only to be expected that our cup's going to overflow. And if we just let it overflow on our desk, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yes. That's really good. Thank you for that reminder. Such a good point. And as it's overflowing, it's impacting people around us, our clients and
Mhm.
everything. It's so good. So what is something that you do in your business to make sure that you're including God on a daily basis?
I would say the biggest thing I do is pray over every client. Before I open
Mm,
their books, the first thing I do is pray.
good. That's
And
great.
so if I have a client that messages me before I respond, I pray. If I know I have a meeting coming up, I cover that in prayer. And most of the time, my clients don't even know about it. And it's not
Right.
that I'm hiding my faith, but I'm letting my faith live out through how I'm interacting with them.
Yes. Beautiful. I love that. That's so good. What a great way to serve your clients and to ask God to cover their books and everything too.
Mhm.
So I love that so much. So who is the perfect client for you?
For me, the perfect client is a small business owner who is just overwhelmed. I always say that my goal as a bookkeeper is to come alongside my clients and help them grow their business. And a lot of people are like, wait, how do you help them grow their business? By taking the number one stress off of their life.
Yeah.
Most small business owners are so stressed about their finances that they can't even think about how to grow their business.
Right.
But if their finances are no longer a stressor, their businesses can grow. And not only their businesses, but they have time to spend with their families. They can focus on doing what they love and spending time with those they love.
Amen. That's so good. You're so right. It always is a huge stressor. So let it go. Hire you. But it's good. I mean, it's like anything else, right? Like we are gifted in certain areas, and that's where we need to be spending our focus as business owners. If we aren't, or we need to be focusing on strategic growth
Mhm.
or, accomplishing goals, why would we let this one thing stand in our way? And it's so important to make sure your books are in order. And if you're not
Well,
trained,
and the books are the key to your business.
right?
I mean, if you know how your business is growing financially, you know what speed you can grow your business.
Yes.
And so
Very
that's
true.
one thing I do is I take those sheets, that profit and loss, that balance sheet that is gibberish and code to my clients, and I say,
Yes.
"Okay, let's look at this. Okay, I see that you're spending this much here and that's really hurting your growth here. Let's see how we can work together to cut that spending, improve your growth, whatever needs to happen." I take those and I translate it in such a way that the client can then
Oh, that's
understand
great.
it. And so that's just another level of how they can grow their business, because they can say, well, I need $500 in the next 6 months to purchase a 3D printer or whatever they need in their
Yeah.
business, but they don't know how do you get there? And if somebody else who is not passionate about their business. I mean, I want to see their business grow, but I don't have that emotional tie. I can say, well, look, you're spending money right here on this service that you never use.
Yeah.
And they can say, but I need that service for this. I'm like, but you don't use it. And if you cut that service, there's your $500.
Yeah. That's good. Ooh, that's nice. Just to have that advisory type of
Mhm.
role with your books as well, with the counseling. That's another level of that. So that's so
Yes.
good. So, how does someone get in touch with you if they want to find out more?
Right now, the easiest place is Facebook. My website's under construction, but it should be up in the next month, and that would be
Okay.
another good one. But I'm across all social media platforms. That's my weakness, and so I'm working on reaching out and finding people to help me grow my social. But I'm on all of the platforms. You just may not see a lot of activity there yet, but we're getting there. And
Okay.
definitely Facebook is the easiest.
Okay. So, spell your name for those that are just listening to the audio only version. How would they find you on Facebook?
They would find me at Jessica Moore Bookkeeping.
All right. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
And then the website, because who knows, somebody might be listening to it like 3 months from now. Is the web
Yes.
address already up?
Yes, it is. And it
Okay.
is jmbookkeepingpro.com.
Wonderful. That's exciting. Anything else that you want to share with any woman that's listening or any business owners that might be listening?
I think the biggest thing is to step out of your own way. If you're a woman, you're probably a mom or you want to be a mom and you feel guilty for the desire to either be working a job, wanting to continue a job, or trying to build a business. Step out of your own way because God has given you that dream. He has given you that passion. And if he gives you a dream or a passion, it's for your good and it will bless you and it will bless your family. So let the guilt go and just step into his blessing, because when he blesses you, your family will be blessed too. And your kids are not going to suffer if you're out of the home. If you're lucky to be in the home, embrace that time with them. But if you're out of the home, they're not going to suffer. They suffer just as much when dad's gone. So if a guy can do it, you can do it. So stop feeling the guilt and just embrace the blessing.
Amen. Great place to end the podcast episode. Thank you for that encouragement. That's
You're welcome.
Great and well needed. We all need that push and that reminder. So thank you so much. And Jessica, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate you sharing. Congratulations on all of your success. We can't wait to see how God continues to grow your business. So thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blessing and an honor.
Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to give us 5 stars and leave a review to help more women find this podcast. If you are a Christian woman, business owner, entrepreneur, and would like some extra motivation and encouragement, head on over to Facebook and request access to my free Facebook group. It's called Flourishing Business Without Overwhelm. Just put that in the search. You should be able to find it. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode.